Welcome everybody to the Tape Deck, where we focus strictly on the golden era of hip hop, the 90s. That's what we doing. That's what we here for. We're going to get into the music. We're going to get into the fashion, and we're going to get all the way into the culture. We are not just your hosts. We are not just your hosts. We are your 90s family. I'm Money Carson.
And I'm Cash Only J. Let me repeat that, Cash Only J. Yo, today we gonna drop into some Dr. Dre, iconic super producer, MC, music extraordinaire.
Curator of the culture.
Yeah, man. Yo, he's one of the ones that was innovating with the West Coast sound, and we just gonna give you some facts and our opinions on Dre's career. Man, this is a man that just kept reinventing himself and just moved on with the times. Money Carson, let's get your perspective on Dre.
Well, off the rip, you said he was, one of the cultivators of the West Coast sound. He's actually credited for crafting what they call West Coast G-Funk. That's actually him. I guess he took, the synthesizer and the hip-hop, more like taking Stone Cold hip-hop, George Clinton, mixing it together, and you got the West Coast G-Funk era that they they came through with. His first notable project is 1992 when he dropped The Chronic. That album was huge, worldwide huge, from kids to adults. It was huge. You remember that? You remember how you felt when you heard that?
Man, when I heard that, man, it was like no other. I remember I had a cousin, man. He was like a basket case, man, and he was like, yo, there's nothing fucking with this album. No, nothing fucking with this album. Yo, you gotta hear it, yada yada yada. And I'm like, okay, because at the time I was like kind of stuck on Cube, because they had that split NWA and Cube was doing his solo joint. So I was like, nah, I ain't nothing messing with his joint that he just dropped, Death Certificate. And then he had came right behind it with Lethal Injection. So I was like, yo, those two albums, man, nah. And then when I heard Chronic, yo, the basket space case cousin that was saying it was like, yo, he got this one. Like, nah, he's not a basket case on this one.
You realize how dramatic the change is from NWA Dr. Dre to the Chronic Dr. Dre?
Yeah, it was drastic.
It was still gangster, but it was just a drastic change. You could tell he was just allowed to be more who he was, more creative with the Chronic than he was with the NWA, which is not a knock on NWA. That's a group. In a group, you got to stay in the group fold. It's like the majority rules thing. When he did the Chronic, he was pretty much, like you said, reinventing himself. But it was like, this is really the full me. That's kind of what it felt like to me.
You know what? He mentored. Dre doesn't give enough credit for who he mentored and who was under him when, he made that switch over to Death Row. You got the Dog Pound, Snoop, even though Warren G wasn't a part of Death Row, but, his little brother and all these different acts,
Look, since you said that, let's take a run through the 90s real quick, and then we'll double back and hit some bullet points, right?
Got you.
92, he dropped The Chronic. He turned around and still in 92 did the deep cover record with Snoop Dogg for the deep cover film. In 93, The Chronic earned a Grammy for Best Rap Performance. He got nominated for Let Me Ride and Nothing But a G Thing. Still in 93, he produced Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style album, which went platinum. Then turned around in 94 and executive produced Warren G, The Regulator Project, which was platinum. Crazy. Then in 95, he turned around and produced Dog Food for the Dog Pound, that went double platinum. Right. Then in 96, he left Death Row, started Aftermath. In 98, he signed Eminem, and in 99, dropped Eminem's first project.
Hold on.
Did you see that type of Did you hear that decade?
Yo, but you know what? You missed one. Murder Was the Case.
Murder Was the Case. That was on Snoop's project.
Okay, I thought he did a whole different. He did a whole.
Murder Was the Case song was on Doggy Style.
Okay, I thought that was a separate.
Nah, that's why I said I'm gonna run it, And then we could go back and hit the
Okay,
bullet
yeah.
points. But do you hear what type of decade that
Yeah,
was?
you just cracked me over the head
92,
with that.
93, 94, 95, 96. 97, he had some work too, but I just didn't highlight that. But then 98, those to me were the biggest standouts. You know what I'm saying?
See, that kind of a catalog right there would knock somebody's equilibrium out.
I mean, not to mention, he started maybe 4 or 5 years before that. And he's still going now. That's just a little portion. That's just the 90s.
This man reinvented himself time after time. Like breakups, like major breakups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you do that? You leave. I mean, okay, this is in the 80s. So he left World Class Wrecking Crew where he was doing like R&B. He didn't want to do that. He got away from that mess. Mm-hmm. He gets with Jerry Heller, Eazy-E. And I mean, this is the greatest, rap group, on the West Coast. They were the West Coast basically at that point. And then what was money about it is, he was loyal. He was loyal to the very end where he was like, yo, I can't take this no more. And then, he had to fall out and it was like, yo, well, where does this leave Dre? And really the question is, where did it leave Eazy in them? Because that went all the way to the left. Mm-hmm. And when he got with Death Row and went that way, man, he took them to a whole nother level. Just like you said, man.
Let's get into the Chronic on Death Row. What records stand out to you?
Bees Inc. and Dre Day. Those are the two that,
that Dre Day make you want to walk it out. Hell yeah. His voice was crazy too. Yeah. Dr. Dre did have an ill voice. I don't care who wrote his raps. His voice brought them things to life.
Definitely did.
You know what record? Let Me Ride. That record was crazy. Mm-hmm. Sweet down, sweet chariot style. That's one of the records where I heard the original song and told my pop, like, yo, they stole Dr. Dre, Joe. I didn't even realize where he got that sample from. I was a young boy back then. Right. What I'm saying? But I remember seeing those videos and hearing those records when I was younger, and it was just a different feeling that I had never experienced. It's like almost a little bit confusing. It's like it's still hard. It's still gangster, but it feels good. It wasn't threatening. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of course, they had some records like that, but for the most part, it was the cookout. It was the what we doing. It was the swap meet. It was that type of feel.
Yeah, he was chilling. I mean, Dre was so loyal though. Like when DOC, had his accident, he stayed. He still put him on his records
as he should.
Yeah, like he was a real dude. Like he didn't throw away his MCs. He still had relationships with the core guys that he dealt with when he was with NWA and Priority, with Easy and them. Like he still, was chill with Above the Law and the other producers like DJ Pooh and all that. So it was like, yo, man, he was a real dude, man. When it came down to it, he just is like, he always got caught up in the mix with the business and who was in charge of his business until he took on his own thing.
So let's scale down a little bit. Let's fast forward to 93 and 94. So you come off of the Chronic, you put out this great body of work, you're being hailed as a dope MC, and everybody already knows you're a dope producer. And then you turn around and you produce Doggy Style for Snoop, and you produce Regulator for Warren G. Doggy Style for Snoop, if we stopped and went over songs, this would turn into the Snoop show. So I don't even think we should get into the Doggy Style album. Nah. We're going to get the Snoop people. He going to have his own show. Right now, we trying to stick with Dr. Dre. So it was amazing. We all know the amazing work he did on Snoop's joint. Then to turn around and bring Warren G to life. Snoop is a monster all on his own. Right. But to bring Warren G to life like that with the Regulators and all of that, he mentored Warren G as a producer and as an artist, and he helped produce that whole project.
Let me ask you this, though. And I mean, like you said, man, Snoop is a monster by himself. Mm-hmm. But once Dre, went on and did his own thing, and Snoop went to No Limit. Yeah. Like, I just feel like Snoop lost his luster.
He didn't lose it. What it was he didn't have his sound that we grew to love. When they did Doggy Style, him and Dre formed Snoop Dogg's sound. That was the formula. You can listen to all them records. No knock on that album, but you can interchange some of those songs with the beats and still have an amazing project.
Okay.
That was just a sound that they created. Snoop will never find that sound with no other producer, and Dre will never find that sound with no other rapper. He's given other rappers beats in those lanes, and it's just not the same formula. So I wouldn't say Snoop lost his luster. Snoop had to find what his new sound was going to be since he didn't have Dr. Dre.
I gotta throw a quick jab in here because my favorite football team is the Cowboys, and I feel like that with Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott. That's just how I feel. I mean, I know people out there in their waves,
They
and
about to meme you.
I know they right. Yeah, right now I'm ready to get taken to the cross and nailed, but it's okay.
Dr. Dre was such an icon that even the Dog Pound went double platinum off the dog food.
Right, yo.
Now check out those 3 different acts. Go back and dig into the production. Dr. Dre found a way to take his sound and make it their sound each time.
Right.
Regulators doesn't sound like Doggy Style. Dog Food doesn't sound like Doggy Style, and vice versa. That is a whole talent on its own.
Right.
If I have a sound, but when I lend it to you, it comes out different than when I lend it to him. That's a talent inside of a talent.
Yeah, man. I'll say this.
And it's platinum on platinum.
Right. He's one producer, man, that I don't think there's any other producer that can match him. Like if any of these idiots say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to do a verses or beats with Dr. Dre, beat on top of beat, or beat against
It ain't
beat."
happening.
Yeah, you just might as well slit your wrist.
If he just loads up some of his drum and chord loops, it's over. It's over. I feel like the way he sampled was extraordinary too. It was never just a full loop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some producers, they'll take 4 bars, 8 bars from an old song and they dress it up and now they got the beat. He took parts. He took parts of puzzles and made his own different puzzle out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yo, he just, people don't give him the credit, I think. Like, hip-hop heads give him the credit, but I think, like, the mainstream, they just forget. They just forget, like, all the work he put in. And maybe because, he's getting older and, he's not, putting stuff out there as much. But I know, like, for my son's 19, and when they came out with the Straight Outta Compton movie, like, he was all over it. Yeah. Like,
that movie was dope.
It was a good movie, and we went back and listened to everything. And I told him, like, I know you do Call of Duty and Saint Row and all that other shit on. I'm not supposed to be cussing, but you do all that. Like, okay, what you're listening to, you can't do that too. Like, I'm telling you, like, you can't act crazy on the game and, okay, I'm going to go find me a weapon and start walking around popping people and running people over. But, this is good music. You know what I mean? This is a great time in my life, and, this is history. And he was a part of, that history. He's a history lesson, man. If you sit back and deep dive into his stuff and, all the connections, man, the Jules, the Michelle Lays, everybody in Death Row, everybody that was on Priority at the time. And, even like in the 90s, I'm going to tell you, it was a bad album. And he even made a joke out of it on one of his joints, a Firm flop. Like, he was like, yo, man,
hold on. See, I can't go with that because the Firm album was dope. The Firm album was dope. Because everybody ain't catch on to it, don't mean it wasn't a dope body of work.
Well, no.
5 minutes to flush? What?
I think that was for the mainstreamers, that joke, because I agree with you. The Firm album is for our kind.
Yeah.
For the listeners who's listening to this, who's going to smash the like button, who's supporting this, they know what the music is. Yeah. And people that's learning, that's watching this, they will know what that is if they sit back and listen to it. And you listen to it closely, that was a good project. But I think for him, It wasn't money for him because it didn't do numbers and kind of like where he was at. You know, that's why I think he made a joke.
Word. All right, let's get into some videos. You want to go first, or I'm going first?
I'm gonna go first. The deep cover joint.
Creep with me as I roll through the hood. Maniac, Coupe de Ville, call me Clint Eastwood. He was bodying that, dog. Like I said, I don't care who wrote it. He bodied that.
Right. And you thought he was tough as shit. You know, he's all in black and he's like,
yeah. Shout out to you, Dre. I ain't making fun of you. I'm trying to be like you, man.
yeah.
I'm going to go with G Thing. Ain't nothing but a G Thing, baby. Because it was that vibe I'm talking about. It was that cookout vibe. It was that kickback. It was that, you know what I mean? We having a good time. Don't play with me because I don't play, but we having a good time. I really felt that video. I remember, and that's another one that I would come home 4:30 p.m. Rap City, the basement. You know they gonna play that video. You know what I'm saying?
I guess my other joint is Dre Day.
I got that one too. That one was crazy. In the midst of the beef with Eazy-E.
Right.
When they had rest in peace to Ezel, they had him playing Eazy-E. Remember he had the Will Rap for Food or something.
Yeah.
He was hitting the hammer dance on the highway. They had the fat dude playing Jerry Heller in the video. That was epic. That was major, that Dre Day joint.
Man, that was my joint when I first heard that, and just when the beat drops. Anytime, whether it's the video or just if it comes on.
Hell yeah.
Yo, that thing, man. Yo, that at any time, man, it can get you psyched up. And I guess the other one it was actually on
I hope you don't steal my third one.
It was on Snoop's album. It's a doggy dog world.
Oh, yeah. It's a crazy mixed up world. It's the doggy. Yo, you know who be hurting that? Whoever be singing that in the background. Mama. He be crushing that.
Yeah. It's like probably like one of yours or one of my old uncles and shit, man.
Mama. He be talking about Snoop, talking about you, Snoop. He be crushing that, yo. I wish I could just get that audio clip. He be bodying that.
They probably paid that guy like $100 and like,
that's
listen,
it, and gave him a 6-pack and probably some player pimp shoes.
Yeah.
He said, Mama. Talking about Snoop, talking about you, Snoop. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that in the car.
He's singing with some force too, man.
From the heart.
They probably got him high. He's like, yo, take these zigzags. We're gonna roll up some. We're gonna let you drink. You gonna get you some Coors Light.
Yo, that's it.
And give you this $100 and send you on your way, man. Just drop them vocals for us.
All right, my third video. California Love. Yo, that video was crazy. They had to probably spend $1 million on that video.
Oh yeah, that
with
budget.
The way they did that in the desert and the uniform, the outfits, and
yeah,
the cars and all of that. That right there, California Love. That was crazy.
What that's based upon? That ideal?
It looked like Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome.
Yeah. Yo. That video was crazy. I liked it. Can you dig it? I mean, they was wilding. So that's got to be in my top 3 videos.
Yeah,
let's get into some verses.
Dre verses. It wasn't per se his verses. And you know,
he spit them. They're his verses. He paid for them too, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think it was always the cats that was on the records with him.
It was, but he had some gems. He had some diamonds in the roughs. Like, I'll give you one.
Yeah, drop a few. I'll give you one. You know,
you remember the song? It was on the Chronic, the Rat-a-tat-tat.
Oh yeah.
What? The way he come off on that rat-a-tat-tat that night with my gat. What? The way he come off on that. I don't know that verse like I know the other ones, but it's his voice, it's his tone, it's his energy. Rat-a-tat-tat on my gat. He bodied that joint.
Yo, that song was money because the whole track, it fit his voice.
Right.
And, you know, he was great at that. Like, even with his acts, their voices, like some people, it's like, okay, all right, we're going to figure out a clever way to, you know, do this song. But it was like everybody that he put on his songs that he, you know, he produced and mixed and mastered, they were perfect.
Well, you know why, right? You know how his formula wasn't. He didn't do that. Some artists will cut the whole project, look at their records, and say, okay, he would be a good feature here. He would be a good feature there. Some people cut the project, and as they cut it, they save spots because I know I want to get somebody on this, I want to get somebody on that.
Right.
What all Dre's features came from is him having 8 niggas in the studio, and whoever writes the best verses, you're getting on this record.
Wow.
I've heard that from multiple sources. I've heard that from Daz's interviews, Corrupt's interviews, Snoop's interviews. Everybody that was involved in his process, even NWA dudes, they said they used to get in the stew. He'd be cooking up his record, and whatever he's banging out, everybody in the room is writing. And whoever's got the hardest verses of the day, you're going to make the record. If your verse don't go, you ain't making the cut. So that's why it was easy for us to sit back and say all his features made sense because he had options. Right. And if it didn't make sense, he wasn't going to make the record.
I'm going to just say this, man, for all the listeners out there, whoever supported this, man, yo, we want your feedback on that. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, you know, when y'all hear, you know, his formula and his recipes for greatness, you know, what's y'all takes on that? What's your opinions?
Yeah, he got 6 verses in the room. If one of them niggas don't get it right, y'all not making the record. I got one, though, that was hard. His verse on Deep Cover was hard.
Creep with me. That joint, yeah, that was tough. That was tough. That was almost believable that he wrote that.
187 on an undercover cop. That whole record's crazy.
And you referenced it at a couple segments ago about Deep Cover.
The movie. I was talking about the movie. But yo, his verse on the Deep Cover song, again, the cadence, the tone, his delivery. Dr. Dre gets slept on for his delivery. His delivery is on point. I've seen people get written a super dope verse, and if they don't deliver it right, it's a waste. Right. It's not the same. It's not effective. Dr. Dre had good delivery. However he was getting that off, it worked.
You know what's funny is that he, like, you know, you got Pete Rock that raps on some of his joints. And one of my favorite projects is Soul Survivor, which, you know, he kind of went in. But, like, he's not believable. Like, but when Dre jumps on it, you believe it. Like, oh, yo, this dude can rap. I think he can rap.
Yep, you absolutely believed it. Deep Cover, that beat, the whole 9. That joint was crazy. I can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Tonight's the night I get into some things. Come on, man. That's too much cussing for me to even blank it out, but you know what type time it is. If you ain't hear the record, go check it out. And if you don't think he bodied Deep Cover, leave that in the comments too, because we could debate, we could have a friendly debate, whatever you want to do. You got another record? You got another video? A verse?
Well, another verse. It would have to be Bees Inc. And, you know, he went in on his joint. But even though like Daz and Snoop, you know, they did their thing on that too. It was more polarizing, but he I think that's like one of my favorite songs out of all his albums. And then you know what? I'll say him by himself, been there, done that. He had some lines on that I can't really remember, but he was coming, you know, basically coming at death row. Been there, done that. You know, he's a family man. I remember he said something about being a family man, and you know, yo, I got straps, you got straps. You know, blah blah blah.
My third, and this is in no particular order. This verse might be one of the better than the other two I named. Mr. Buster. Where you at? Can't scrap a lick, so I know you got your gat. That verse from Dre Day, he bodied him. He bodied him. He was so disrespectful. The delivery was on point.
Yeah,
it was clear cut who he was talking about.
Right.
You know he talking about Easy. You know he talking about NWA. You know he talking about Jerry Heller. Let me ride, just another homicide. Yeah, it's me, so I'ma walk on, stomping on the easiest streets that you can walk on. Come on, man. He did that on purpose. So strap on your Compton hat, your Lokes, and watch your back, cause you might get smoked, Loke. He was talking to Easy the whole time.
Yo, that's
the whole
crazy,
time.
man. He came at his neck, and it's
Wow.
like, yo, they made history together. And it was like, you know what, man, screw you. You know what I mean? Yo, you trying to play me? Yo, I got you.
But that probably made it tougher because, like, you start something with somebody, and then you, like you said, he was a loyal dude. So I'm being loyal, and I'm getting scraped, and I'm staying loyal, and you're not fixing it.
Right.
They was just in their feelings when they was dissing each other.
Right.
Because if they wasn't, niggas would have got killed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They ain't really want to, take it to that level, but they both had to represent and speak their side of what was going on. And in hip hop, especially in the 90s, that's how you do it.
Right.
If we had a problem, we're going to air it out. You know what I'm saying? I can't let you say something to me in the public and me not hop on this record and get you back.
And you know what's crazy is that, like, even though, Easy, and rest in peace Easy, because he's one of my favorites. Even when it was crumbling, man, he still, like, he put up the good fight.
Man, he wasn't. If he wouldn't have died, he would have still been a legend, bro, because he signed Bone. But that's another time for another show too. We gotta touch on that. But you know what I'm saying? He wasn't done. He died. That's what happened.
Right.
He died in downtime. Because even then they were supposed to be doing a reunion.
Yeah, getting back together.
Him and Dre. Was it him and Dre?
Yeah, no, it was supposed to be NWA.
Yeah, they had pieced it up.
They were supposed to do something, and then they got real sick. But what I'm saying is, like, he did 2 albums. One, it was a crazy one. I remember it was like Merry Mother Effing Christmas. He had like a assault rifle, and he's like pointing at somebody. And then the other one was he had a blunt in a 40. He's like shaking it up in the air, and that was the real MF and G's, where him and the guy Dog Catcher was dissing Dre. So he was clapping at him, but man, it was like at that point, man, Dre and him was just too strong, man. You throw Snoop on the track with you, and it was like, psh, man,
put him in the body bag, Johnny. That's what it is.
Basically.
That's what it is.
Yeah, man.
So in the midst of all of this nonsense and this craziness, LA was crazy while he was doing what he was doing. LA was crazy. What year was that? We had the LA riots.
That was 9-2.
We had the Rodney King going on.
Right. That was all in the same year. Well, I think that span was 9-3 to 9-5, because you remember OJ was in the mix of that too.
That's what I was about to say. What year was OJ Simpson?
That was 9-4. Summer 9-4.
Yeah, so that's all going on right around him while he's making this music and making history.
Yeah. And then on top of that,
in his city,
and the West Coast East Coast battle started to ignite. It was starting to erupt right from that, like the tail end after OJ got acquitted. It was like boom, here that came right into fruition. So like, and he was like right in the middle of everything.
You ain't lying.
Like, let me ask you this: do you think like he really like, how do you think he really felt about that? Do you think he was like really trying to just get away from it, or you think he just like, all right, whatever, like this just happened?
I think it's the same as the stigma for Camden. I think if you're living in it and you're used to it, you don't see it how the other people see it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, think about when we was kids. I went outside and played.
Right.
I was allowed to go outside and play. We walked home from school. We did things. We wasn't, our parents or us, we wasn't scared of the area. You go out of town and you tell somebody where you're from, and they're like, "Oh my God," you know what I mean? Like, right. You walk somebody, you niggas come around, even rap niggas. They come to town. You got to walk niggas to the corner store in the middle of the shoot. Yeah. I've done it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it ain't like that to us because we out here.
Right.
So I don't think it affected him the way we took it, because we're not out there.
Right.
So to us, it's like, oh my God. But they out over there looking at us like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you walk into the store like it's nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You outside like it's nothing. You on the block. You at the park. We played 28th and Mitchell. We balled out there like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dudley Grange. We balled out there like it's nothing.
Right.
We cut through that park. Niggas is getting robbed in that park.
Right. And the crazy thing is we all know each other. So it's like, you know what I mean? Or you knew somebody and knew somebody.
Right.
So
Somebody's
like,
family knew somebody. Yeah. So I don't think it was that major for him out there. Plus, the whole police brutality thing, they were living way before that too.
Right.
Way before it became a public issue. Like they was living that. That's what they was used to. You saw the NWA, John. I mean, they got hemmed up off the school bus. Ice Cube was trying to do his homework and got hemmed up. So I think that was just motivation for him to do his thing so he could stay out of the way.
Right.
If
right,
anything.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
When he slid off of Death Row, like I know for me, like I just thought, you know, it was basically over for him, like because of the way that you know, everything was going on in the media. It wasn't like how it is today where you look down at your phone and it's like, yo, he left because of this reason, that reason. It's like everything is explained.
Right.
I remember when I found out that he left Death Row, it was like, yo, you leaving, you know, you're leaving Snoop, you're leaving Tupac, you're leaving Dog Pound, you know, Danny Boy, you know, all their acts.
Everybody.
And it was like, okay, so what is he going to do? You know what I mean? Because they kind of like, you know, he's kind of like, kind of saying like, you know, I ain't with none of this shit. You know what I mean? I'm not with none of this East Coast, West Coast. I'm tired of it. I'm my own man. I'm doing my own thing, which I respect because a lot of people don't have the ability to do that.
Right.
I know only certain people that can, you know, once they lock in and say, okay, well, this is who I am and I'm living by this code, they do it. You know what I mean? The people in this room that I'm in with right now, they live that life. You know what I mean? I can say for my partner and the boss man, like, yo, we live that. Not everybody can do that. And Dre did that on a high level, man.
Facts.
He left millions of dollars, a lot of fame, a lot of glory. He just left it like, yo, man.
He bet on himself. He knew he could get that anyway. He knew that he didn't need them to get where he needed to go. He just needed to work. So with the fashion this week, I'm staying in tune with my, you know what I mean? With my West Siders, and I'm gonna go with the White Sox hat. Because when they came out with nothing but a G thing and all them joints, the White Sox hat was the hat to get. Was it not?
Yeah. Yeah, the White
Sox hat, the black joint, white letters. Yo, even in the verses, Locks hat, black hat, white letters, Locks, where the socks was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That White Sox hat was hard. I had it. 6th grade, I had it.
It was a store in a mall, the second floor where Cherry Hill Mall, I think, is that where the pretzel place is at, or is it Old Navy? Whatever one. It was like, I think it was called Pro Corner. And yo, I
used to have that.
Yo, I durfed my first socks hat. Took it right off the thing. The guys, like, it was one guy working. There was a couple of us went in there, and somebody was like, "Yeah, I want that over there." And I went right up on the counter and grabbed Snatchies.
The White Sox hat. That's my fashion for this week.
I didn't even care. Like, I was like, I don't care if it's a snapback or, because back then it was like the fitted. You know, that was the hat to have, but I snatched the snappy. I ain't even care. I was like, I want that hat, and I snatched that right off.
That was Dr. Dre fault.
Yeah, Dre gassed me.
What you got for fashion?
Fashion, I'm going to go with the jean suit. Like, they, you know, remember these like walking around in jean suits and like, it's like, I guess it was like a Dickie.
The khaki joints.
The khaki joints, suits. Yeah. The
Lokes and khaki suits.
But they also had the dark blue joints. Was that Dickie or was it?
It was still Dickie. Yeah, they wore the tan, they wore the black, and they wore the blue.
Right. So that would be my one of my fashion joints from now.
My second one is gonna be easy peasy, easy money. Chucky Taylors, man.
Oh yeah.
You had the Chuck Taylors. You had the black Chuck Taylors with the black White Sox hat. Anything in between was regular. Everything else was
the
fine.
man.
That's it. That's all you needed. That was your Cali starter kit.
They definitely before they moved to Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders had. You know what I mean? He rocked that. You know, that was before the 90s, but it came into the 90s as well.
Nah,
but,
yeah, he was wearing that. They was wearing that.
But you know who really blew that up is Q, when Q said stop giving juice to the Raiders because Al Davis never paid us. And then when he said that, none of them niggas wore
White Sox.
Yeah, they went to White Sox and the Kings.
Yeah. All right, let's do films. What we got for film this week? You want to go first, or am I going first?
You can go first, because I
am going to go.
I got one.
I'm going to go with Above the Rim.
Okay.
Just because that was my favorite movie of all time. Tupac was in it. We talking about the West Coast, even though Tupac is West and East. But again, that's another story for another show. I'm going with Above the Rim this week, though.
I'm going to go with South Central.
Ooh.
South Central.
How did I let that slide?
Damn.
How did I let that slide? You got that off.
Yeah, man. You know, OG Bobby Johnson, man. He was an animal,
OG
man.
Bobby Johnson.
Until he got civilized.
What if OG Bobby Johnson met Nutso?
They'd have been rocking, man.
Yo, Tom Shep, get up off me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was definitely skitzing.
Tom Shep, get up off me.
But no. The fight I would have been gassing is OG Bobby Johnson against Tupac's main man, the crazy guy that the Wayne's boys say, "Yo, you need a hug."
His name, yeah. You need a hug, or you need a
like,
role
you gotta be a
model or
soldier.
something. He said, "Yeah, see, you niggas is always playing. Yo, better stop playing and start listening." That's how he was battling on it. That's when Marlon went, "I'm so crazy, I killed my own mama. Ain't a fat stuff like Jeffrey Kendama. I'm a wild type of nigga with a comma." He said, "Shut up." Like, niggas got shook.
Yo.
I said, "Pull over."
It was a dude that I knew that was like that guy. It's Cat Flea, rest in peace. And he actually was a nice MC. And one time we was out, pitching.
Wait, he was like who? He was like
Pac's right hand. Man.
Okay.
He was like crazy, like just for anything. So we out there doing our thing, man. And he went to his worker and was like, "Yo," punched him right in his face. He was like, "That's all you got?" He was like, "Yeah, ain't nobody come out here yet." He was like, I'm like,
Motar.
He got a lot on his mind.
His name was Motar.
What was Mozart?
Yeah. No, it was Motar.
Motar.
Yeah, that was his
I thought
name.
You said Mozart. I was ready to say,
no.
damn.
Motar.
There's nothing artistry about it.
Motar.
Okay.
My movie, this one, I'm pulling a you a couple episodes ago. It ain't got nothing to do with hip hop, but it's a dope 90s movie. Heat.
Oh yeah.
That ain't got nothing to do with hip hop, but that movie was
No. That's hip hop.
What's hip hop about it? Tell me.
The last piece of music at the end.
What they had?
Mobb Deep. I ain't never going back.
Really?
Yeah, that they sampled that.
Tied it in. I was testing you and you passed. See that? I was testing him and he passed. It was hip hop.
Yeah,
good catch.
It wasn't a test. I'm front. Yeah, he was freestyling. Yo, these MCs, man. Yo, that was a good one though. He almost had me.
Yo, man, Dr. Dre. Oh, you got another movie?
I got another one. I got another one,
what's
man.
What's up?
It's not hip hop either, man. It's the best chase scene ever. Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. And,
Point Break?
Point Break, man. It's chase scene. Yo.
That movie's hard.
Dope chase scene.
That movie's hard.
Kind of like Heat too. Like,
listen, that might be hip hop too, because there's a lot of rap lines referencing that movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of different rappers have mentioned Point Break or a scene in Point Break or, the President's Mask. And all of that. Yo, that's ill. That's an ill
Camp
movie.
Lo did the President's Mask.
Yes, Lucchini, another episode.
Yeah.
I actually just came up with something else too for another episode off of that. I'm glad you said that. But man, all in all, Dr. Dre had a remarkable career, especially in the 90s. He's definitely a staple in the 90s. He's definitely a staple in West Coast hip hop in general. So, we tip our hat to Dr. Dre, man. For real. Before we get out of here, we got to give him a special shout out.
Definitely, because these earphones, they feel like a pair of Beats. You know what I'm saying? But,
Billionaire Beats headphones.
Yeah, man. I mean, Hey, they're good headphones. I can hear myself. But you know, we gonna breeze up out of here, man. And you know, hey, I appreciate you all. Money Carson appreciate you all.
Yes, I do.
Yo, download us. Download us, support us,
Subscribe.
press the like button,
Subscribe.
smash it, subscribe. Yo, you know, cause the more you join, the more you get somebody to join in and listening, you know, listening to the show and interjecting, the better off this gets, the bigger it gets. And we, you know, we want the support. We love the support. We love you guys and we love what we're doing. And this is not a job. This is not hassle. This is not hard, man. We just want everybody to be a part of what we're doing here in this 90s era. And you know, we want, you know, your intake and input and output. I'm gonna leave, you know, the rest over to my man Money Carson.
And definitely give us your feedback, because again, it's a little bit of time frame, and Dr. Dre did a lot of work. So if you felt like we left a song out or a video out, or you think you got something better than what we had in our list, dump it in the comments. Shoot us a DM. We'll get back to it on the second round, because we're going to double back to everything. It's too much hip-hop in the 90s not to double back to everything. So before we get out of here, shout out Leader of the Pack Productions as usual. Shout out the man, the myth, the legend, a.k.a. Mr. 2AM, a.k.a. your plug's favorite plug, a.k.a. the man with the face too easy to trace, a.k.a. the Red Wolf.
Howlin' Wolf.
We out of here, man.